As summer approaches, the Otago Regional Council is reminding residents about what can be burned outdoors. The council has recently prosecuted several people for burning prohibited items. Director of Environmental Monitoring and Operations, Scott MacLean, joins us to talk about it. Good evening, Scott. What are some of the materials that we're not allowed to burn outside?
There's a whole list of prohibited items. They include plastics, tannalised timber, waste petroleum products, tyres, rubber, a whole raft of things.
What are some of the most common items that still get burned outdoors?
Plastics definitely feature up there, polystyrene, tyres, and tannalised timber.
Can you recycle polystyrene?
As far as I understand, you can. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about the recent prosecutions by the council.
Yeah, so we've brought a number of prosecutions recently. Most of them have related to burning prohibited items such as tannalised posts, tyres, and oddly enough, a couple of fridges. And so they've been prosecuted on that and some objectionable and offensive smoke at the boundary of the properties.
Is much of this activity happening here in Dunedin?
No, very little of it. Most of it relates to central Otago and the Queenstown Lakes area. Most of the complaints we get about Dunedin relate to smoky domestic chimneys.
Is it as a result of it being difficult to recycle or dispose of some items like a fridge?
I don't believe so. I think most people know fridges shouldn't be burnt. So yeah, it's probably just I don't know, poor practice really.
Has the problem been worse this year compared to normal?
No, last financial year we had 239 complaints that related to outdoor burning throughout Otago. This year it's looking like it's tracking around about the same as last year.
What about bonfires? Do you get many complaints about those?
We do from time to time, yeah, bonfires, and a lot of that relates to objectionable or offensive smoke at the boundary. So we just ask people to be mindful of their neighbours and
What are the rules around bonfires? Yes, is it a straight out yes or no? Do you have to be in a certain place?
There's different rules for everywhere. So if someone wants to light a fire outdoors, we really encourage them to do their homework first. So we have obviously the list of materials that can and can't be burnt. Really need to check in with Otago Rural Fires. We've just entered a restricted fire season on Saturday. And also for Dunedin City Council has their own outdoor burning rules.
What are the penalties?
Under the Resource Management Act, individuals can be fined up to $300,000 or companies up to $600,000. So the prosecutions we've taken recently, I think have averaged out around about $8,000. Which
is a considerable amount for most people. Is it a deterrent? You're not finding that the same people are offending?
No, it would be a pretty solid deterrent. So no, the cases lately have not been recidivist offenders.
Now the council also monitors air pollution. Tell us a wee bit about that.
Yeah, so under the Resource Management Act, regional councils have a responsibility for monitoring air quality. So the Ministry for the Environment have set out national environmental standards for air quality, and we monitor to those standards.
Is air quality bad here in Dunedin?
No, it's quite the opposite. It's actually very good. We've been monitoring in central Dunedin near Anzac Avenue for over 10 years now, and we meet the national environmental standards, and in fact pollution levels are gradually decreasing in that time.
Is our susceptibility to wind, such as what we have today, one of the reasons why our air quality is good? Yeah,
topography and weather plays a big part in it. We don't have any of the problems that other parts of Otago have, such as the Wanaka and Milton with the inversion layers.
What should people do if they're unsure about what to burn and where?
Visit our website or give us a ring, and so we've got a comprehensive list of prohibited materials, some guidelines on burning and areas and different rules.
Director of Environmental Monitoring and Operations, Scott MacLean, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.